Anil Ambani has now sought permission to meet his executives who are lodged in Tihar jail, who are all accused in the 2G scam. Now, the Tihar authorities, according to reports, are deciding on Anil Ambani's request. The three officials are Gautam Doshi, Surendra Pipara and Hari Nair, who are lodged in Tihar jail. Now, Nikunj joins us on the phone line for more on this. Nikunj, what are your sources telling you on whether Anil Ambani is likely to be granted that request?
Well, I did try and speak to the Tihar jail authorities, but obviously they are extremely tight-lipped on the entire issue. They did tell me this much, though, that the request has been received. They are processing the request, and the result of that processing of the request should become clearer in some time to come. Whether they would decide on the request today itself or that will take some more time is still not clear, because obviously they are very cagey in sharing details about Anil Ambani's proposed visit to Tihar jail. They also told me that one of his executives, Mr. Pipara, is not in Tihar jail. He has now been shifted to All India Institute of Medical Sciences because of his health condition. But two of his accused, as you were mentioning, the names that you were taking, Gautam Doshi and one other gentleman, are in Tihar jail. The jail manual for sure allows the meeting of the blood relatives. In this case, Mr. Ambani surely is not a blood relative of any of these individuals. He is the boss of these executives. Now, whether as per the jail manual they would take a decision to allow him or disallow him would become clearer in some time. But the request is pending with the Director General Prisons of Tihar jail. And beyond that, they are not commenting, but they say that, they will go strictly as per the central jail manual. Tihar, remember, is a central jail right in the heart of Delhi, and the central jail manual will have to be followed as strictly as possible. And that's what the indication I got when I tried and spoke to the Tihar prisons authorities. And that's what they were willing to come and say, that they have received the request, they are processing the request, and the jail manual in this case will be followed in toto. Whether there is any precedence available of the bosses of the lodged executives visiting them in jail, they will obviously have to also consider whether this visit can somehow, influence the testimonies, influence the ongoing judicial case. Now, remember, these are under trial prisoners; these are not yet convicts. And under trial prisoners, meetings are also regulated by the ongoing cases and the evidence being brought on record against them, and the testimonies they are supposed to depose in front of the court of law. So all those factors will have to be considered by the Tihar prisons authorities before allowing Mr. Anil Ambani to meet or not meet his executive laws in Tihar jail. Now, another factor which is very crucial is that if the testimonies are over, then surely that meeting can be allowed. But if the testimonies are still to be made in front of various courts of law and in front of the certain investigative agencies, remember, there are multiple investigative agencies now probing the 2G spectrum case. And if that process is not over, then it seems there is a very bleak chance that Mr. Ambani would get to meet his executives lodged in Tihar jail.
Right, Nikunj. In the past, we have seen that Kani Modi was allowed to meet Karunanidhi, his father, and also other relatives. But this is a different case altogether, because a lot of spotlight has been on the role of Anil Ambani as well as Reliance Telecom in the 2G scam.
Yes, as you say that, Ms. Kani Modi was allowed to meet his father. The fact of the matter is those are blood relatives. And blood relatives at every stage of criminal jurisprudence process are certainly allowed to meet. The jail manual, the Supreme Court guidelines and other directions of the high courts have made it very clear that whether they are under trial prisoners, whether they are convicts, they can certainly request and they can be allowed to meet their blood relatives at any given stage of criminal jurisprudence process. But Mr. Ambani surely is not a blood relative. His request will fall in a completely different category. These are the business associates and he is the boss of these gentlemen. So in that case, in that sense, strictly speaking, I'm not aware whether there is a legal precedent available, whether the government of India has laid down in the central jail manual any process of people who are not blood relatives but are related by work